Hello again. This is like buses. I don't do anything for ages now. I do two at once. But yeah, I just wanted to do a bit of a separate one because I kind of ramble a lot about West End Live, and then I went to my first theatre experience in 18 months on the Saturday night, the 18th. So I just thought that was worth talking about as like a slightly separate thing. And I was supposed to be going to go see Back to the Future, the musical, and I was really looking forward to it. But I was slightly worried because I knew that they'd cancelled a few performances earlier in the week due to illnesses within the company, and I was like, you're just getting a bit dicey. I knew they'd cancelled like the Wednesday and the Thursday, and I was literally about to get on the train on the Friday, and it was like, ding, email. Sorry, tomorrow night's performance has been cancelled. We will resume next week. And I was like, I'm not going to the theatre. I've waited so long for this. I've waited 18 months to set foot in the theatre, to sit on one of them folded down chairs, to get bum cramp. I want the full thing. I want the full thing. And so yeah, I was sat there on the train ride on the way down like, what can I see? And I was umming and ahhing, and I was like, well, Les Mis hasn't opened yet, and Juliet hasn't opened yet. Book of Mormon hasn't yet. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I ummed and ahed a bit more, and I was like, maybe I should just go see Phantom of the Opera. Like, I love Phantom, I love Killian Donnelly, maybe I should just go see that. And I looked, and there was some seats left available that were pretty alright, and I was like, yeah, do you know what, I might just go do that. And then I started thinking about other things I could see. I thought, no, do you know what? I want to see something that I've never seen before. I want to see something for the first time. I want that full-on, oh my god, experience when I leave the theatre. And I got to thinking, and we got to looking and Googling and looking at the different things that were on. And then I ummed and ahed a bit, and I was like, Tina. I quite fancy Tina the Turner. Not Tina the Turner musical. This is a tongue twister. Tina the Tina Turner musical. Was too many T's. And I looked at that, and the tickets are like quite expensive, but there were a couple left, and I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll look at that. And then I looked, and I thought, just on the off chance, I looked at Hamilton. Now, Hamilton is one of those shows that when it opened, you couldn't get a ticket for love nor money, and you still struggle. Especially with it not being open all that long post-lockdown, it's like, you are lucky if you find a performance with some free seats. And I looked, and they had one seat in the stalls, one seat in the grand circle, one seat in the dress circle. Like, literally one. And I was like, oh god damn. And I looked, and the tickets were only like a tenner more expensive than Tina. And the one they had in the grand circle was literally a smack dab in the middle. Like, dead stage centre. 4 rows back, and I was like, I can't not. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go see Hamilton again because the tickets are like rocking horse, you know what? You know, do I want to spend the extra tenner and see something that's like a real big thing right now? Do I want to get in on that? And I thought, I think I do. So that's what I did. Basically, get a refund for Back to the Future, which I would have loved to have seen that, and I probably will try and go see that again, just because it's one of my favourite films, and I love musicals, and the thought of there being a musical about one of my favourite films is kind of a combo that I can't pass up. But I watched the recording of Hamilton on Disney Plus, and I loved it, absolutely adored it, and I thought, I can't pass up this opportunity, I'm gonna have to go. It did slightly expose something that I didn't realise annoyed me so much, which is when I was telling people, I'm going to go see Hamilton, they were like, oh, have you seen it? And I was like, no. And they were like, oh yeah, I have, it's on Disney Plus. And I was like, you haven't seen it then. You have watched a recording, you haven't been to see it. You are lying to me. For some reason that faintly annoys me, because I was like, yeah, I've watched that version, I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm just a snob, I don't know. But it kind of bothered me because it's like, no, you haven't had the full experience. I'm sorry. You haven't had the full go to the theatre, sit in the seat, listen to that dun, 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 and get your heart going, and hear everyone like gasp and laugh and cry in all the right moments. You haven't experienced that, and that to me is what theatre is all about. And I love a recording because you get to see something that maybe you wouldn't get a chance to see. Maybe it's closed, maybe it's like 20 years old, maybe it's a special performance that they've put on once in a blue moon for something that hasn't been on in the West End for forever. There's nothing wrong with that. I like those. I really genuinely do. But it's not the same thing in my kind of experience. I like the full experience. I like the full lot, if you like. So yeah, I went to see Hamilton. And I'll just kick off by saying the fact that it was so well organised in theatres, because I haven't been for so long. I was a little bit nervous about going into a theatre because I haven't been indoors in a crowd really properly, not with strangers anyway, not in close proximity, so I was a little bit tense. But you got an email on the day of the show giving you a window to go to time wise, so I had to be there between 6:30 and 6:45, which is fine because that's probably what I would have aimed for anyway. And it told you which door to go to. So you had to go to a specific door, like there was one at the front for like the dress circle that went straight upstairs, and then there was one at the back for the stalls and the grand circle, which each had a separate entrance. So that was good. I felt that was quite organised. It helped a flow of people much better than a random crowd gathering on the pavement, tripping everybody up and stuff. So that was clever. And you had to show your COVID pass or a negative test, just to kind of be like, I'm not going to kill anyone if I get in, or I'm safe to be in, I'm not going to drop dead after this. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I felt safe and I felt secure, and all the like ushers and stuff had masks on that were like see-through, so you could still lip read, but they were also very, very good at that kind of safety thing. There was sanitising stations as you went into the auditorium, so before you went past, it's all ticketless as well, so you just scan your phone out, they beep it, and then you don't have to give a ticket to anyone after that. Once you're in kind of thing. But as you go into the auditorium, just put your hand under, sanitise, get to your seat. People had masks on pretty much until they sat down in the auditorium and then took it off, which is cool because you know that people are safe, so that's okay by me. But yeah, being in there and seeing the stage, I can't tell you what it felt like when the lights went down. After so long, I'm going to cry again. This is ridiculous. I've cried again at something that made me cry on Saturday. But yeah, when the lights went down and you heard that first dum, 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 it was like, we're off and running. We're off and running and we're back. And from start to finish, it was incredible. Watching the version on Disney Plus is great, but do you know what? I'm just going to say it. Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't the best Hamilton. Like, he wrote it. He's a genius. Don't get me wrong. Lyrically, it's so intricate and so incredible and so witty and sharp and funny and accurate at the same time. That's a real skill. That's such a talent that man has. It's insane. He's ridiculously talented. But I will say that this cast, I feel, were absolutely incredible. And I know I'm going to say that because they're like my cast, but Carl Queensborough as Alexander Hamilton, I thought was really funny, but also really sad, really touching. He had the right amount of like arrogance and boyish excitement, because you've got to remember that you have this image of like George Washington or Ben Franklin. I mean, Ben Franklin's not in it, but it was just an example. And all these kind of founding fathers as being old men. They even say at the end, every other founding father gets to grow old. You have this image of them as being an old man. You forget that, like, they were, like, you know, of my age. Alexander Hamilton was only, like, 44 or something, like, when he died. He was, like, mid-40s. You know, at the beginning of this, when this starts, he's younger than me. Throughout the bulk of it, he's my age. And I think you forget that there's a certain level of immaturity to him, in ways. And a certain level of naive arrogance, almost. Like, he doesn't know any better. That he's kind of changing history. This is just what he does, so what? And I think that was really played out really well with this cast. I think that was really played out well. I also think that it was a real treat to see Trevor Dion-Nicholas, because he came out at West End Live, obviously, and he's been at every West End Live that I have seen so far, so it was a great level of continuity. I liked seeing him. Wouldn't be West End Live without him. He is West End Live to me. I'm sorry. But yeah, seeing him as George Washington was great, because he was a slightly different side to him. Insofar as I've seen him as like the genie in Aladdin at West End Live performances, he's a bit more like jovial and jokey, but he brought some of that to it. So that was great. I absolutely love him. He's kind of a father figure to Hamilton, but at the same time, he's like, this kid's a dick in some ways. I like that. Simon Anthony Roden as Aaron Burr. I love Simon Anthony Roden. I can't believe that the last time I saw him in anything was at a West End Live where he was dressed as Lola from Kinky Boots. That's such a level of versatility. Such a level of versatility. But he was amazing, because you could see him being like, I want my turn. I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting frustrated. But at the same time, I don't want to rock the boat. He is a bit more kind of reserved in some ways as Aaron Burr, but at the same time you get that he's fuming and he's ambitious and he wants this so bad. So it's a real balancing act that he has to tread, and he was incredible. All of the cast were amazing. My favourite characters are twofold. I love Thomas Jefferson, just because he gets to do the whole like, haha, taking Hamilton down, woo, like the rivalry that they have. He gets to kind of be a little bit the bad guy, insofar as he's like having the rap battles with Hamilton, and you know that he's a slaver and all these things that we know to be bad. But at the same time, he's so charismatic. It's very, very tricky as a watch, because you're like, oh my god, I really like him. He's really making me laugh. Oh wait, he had children with slaves. But it reminds you of that. It doesn't shy away from that in Hamilton. That's what I like about it. It mentions Sally Hemings. It mentions the fact that, oh, you don't have debts down south because you're not paying for people to do jobs for you. You are buying slaves and getting labour for free. Do you not think that maybe that's a part of why you're doing all right down there? And it doesn't shy away from those issues, those factual issues and those historical big issues are in there, and that's what I really liked about it. It didn't sugarcoat things. It did, insofar as it maybe didn't tackle them deeply enough, but it had it on your radar that this was going on and this was a thing. So yeah, really, really loved all of it in general. But yeah, Jefferson I really, really loved, and also King George. King George. I don't know what it is, like, and maybe it's because it's a British audience. We were kind of like, yeah, King George. Oh God, he's one of ours and he's a nut job. It was, it's a very different dynamic watching King George as a British person, knowing that he's technically the baddie, in a way. I don't know if there really is a baddie in Hamilton, but if there was, probably a guy that wouldn't let America be free and was willing to kill your friends and family to remind you of my love would probably be up there as slightly sinister. But he was also hilarious. He was true from the minute he walked out, all like posy in his big cape and was like fixing his eyes on the audience, like, no, don't change the subject, because you're my favourite subject. It was a switch that just flicked. He proper made eye contact. He picks people out in the audience to like shout at and stuff, and when he was up dancing at the end, he got a huge cheer. And what I like about the end of Hamilton is you don't get like a, oh, these are the leading guys, come out one at a time, take a bow. It's just we're an ensemble piece. Bow, everyone together. There's a little bit at the end where the sides go off and you're left with Hamilton and Burr in the middle and stuff like that. But generally, everyone is as important as everybody else. Like, even just the dances the choreography was so slick and seamless, and they were moving all the time. It was so fluid. It was absolutely stunning. It was absolutely stunning. Every last person had to be so intricate to make everything work, and I never really appreciated it before how helpless and satisfied the choreography was backwards. So she sings Helpless, does Eliza about how she fell in love with Hamilton and they get married, and then Angelica comes up and does the toast about how she'll never be satisfied because she also loves Hamilton, and all the choreography is to the point backwards until you get to the point where they're meeting, and it's like absolutely perfectly fluidly in reverse, and it's a stunning piece of work. That's stunning. Thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, I cannot recommend Hamilton enough. I was a little bit afraid that it wouldn't live up to the hype just because there's so much hype around it. But at the end, when they're saying who lives, who dies, who tells your story, and Eliza's saying she wants to tell Alexander's story, she hopes it gets to be told, and then she walks to the front of the stage and does the gasp, everyone just cried, because they say it means something different to every single Eliza, and they won't tell you kind of what it exactly is. But in the moment where Hamilton like takes his wife's hand as she's supposedly dying, and then he sort of leads her towards the front of the stage as if to say, the story is told. We're telling it. They've seen it. And everyone just cried because it was like she got what she wanted. Alexander Hamilton's story did get told. We did see it. We did experience it. All the things that she wanted to do for the rest of her life are fulfilled right now. So that was amazing. But as soon as that gasp happened and everyone cried, everyone was up on the feet giving a standing ovation. It was a roar like you've never heard. And to hear that again was incredible. It felt great to be in that crowd on my feet, clapping and cheering and all those things. And if in some point in the next 74 years you ever get a chance to get tickets for Hamilton, I would definitely snap them up. Highly recommend being in the Grand Circle. You get a really good view of the Revolve and all the things that are going on because they've got a Revolve in the middle. You get everything down there. You get the full effect. You don't miss a single thing. You get everything perfectly. I could not have chosen a better seat if I'd have had an empty theatre to pick from. I would have chosen that one. So yeah, I did really well seat-wise, and I would strongly recommend seeing it from that seat. But I'd strongly recommend seeing it anyway because it was just an insane piece of theatre, an insane musical, and I'm walking around now like, what's your name, son? I kind of can't stop doing it. It's a little bit addictive. And if I ever get the chance, I will definitely go see it again. 100% highly recommended.